Imagine a world where the cost of freedom is measured not just in lives, but in dollars. Every explosion, every march, every flag raised carries a hidden weight. Behind the battlefield, there is a quieter war, a war of finance, influence, and profit. For America, conflict has rarely been only about ideals or survival. It has always been about money. While soldiers marched, while families grieved and tightened their belts, someone somewhere was counting profits. And this story begins more than a century ago, when Europe tore itself apart in a war that would later be called the Great War. In 1914, millions of men marched into muddy fields where artillery rained down endlessly. Entire cities burned. Governments were drowning in debt. America watched from across the Atlantic, at first seemingly removed from the carnage. Yet American bankers and industrialists saw opportunity. J.P. Morgan did not just lend money, he became the lifeline for the Allies. Wheat, coal, steel, munitions. Everything flowed from American factories to European armies, financed by loans carrying interest. Every explosion on the Western Front had an invisible companion, the cost of financing it. By 1917, America officially joined the war, but Wall Street had already become deeply entwined in Europe's fate. If Britain or France had fallen, the financial loss would have been catastrophic. Citizens were urged to buy Liberty bonds, marketed as patriotic duty. Posters, celebrities, even children collecting coins, all gave the sense of shared sacrifice. Yet the real winners were the financiers and industrialists at the top. Factories roared to life. Profits skyrocketed. A precedent was established. War could be funded by public debt, underwritten by private capital, yet presented as civic virtue. 2 decades later, the world plunged into an even larger conflict. Europe descended into chaos once more, and America became the arsenal of democracy. Factories that once produced cars, aircraft and consumer goods switched to tanks, bombers, ships, and weapons of all kinds. Every contract guaranteed profit. Every assembly line became a machine of wealth. Ordinary citizens contributed through war bonds, raising over $185 billion, more than half the cost of the war. Package sacrifice as investment, mobilize a nation, guarantee top-tier gain. Boeing, Ford, General Motors, all became military machines churning out endless equipment. Meanwhile, the gold standard faded. The dollar transformed into a symbol of industrial might and military power. By 1944, through Bretton Woods, the dollar became the world's reserve currency, cementing America's financial dominance and tying global finance to American factories, weapons, and influence. The end of World War II did not end the machinery of war. It institutionalized it. The Cold War created a continuous system of conflict where financial gain and national security were inseparable. Defense spending surged. Entire industries, aerospace, electronics, oil, depended on the military churn. Economists called it military Keynesianism. Government spending on war sustained the economy, prevented depressions, ensured growth. Vietnam demonstrated the system's resilience. From 1964 to 1975, America poured over $100 billion into a conflict that caused enormous human suffering. Yet financial machinery kept rolling. Defense contractors supplied helicopters, planes, weapons, napalm, earning guaranteed profits. Banks financed deficits through bonds. Ordinary Americans bore the burden through taxes and inflation. President Johnson's guns and butter promise collided brutally with reality. Inflation surged. The dollar severed from gold. In 1971, Nixon ended the gold standard entirely. Money became a claim not on metal, but on trust in the state and military power. The oil crises of the 1970s added another layer. America ensured oil was priced exclusively in dollars. the petrodollar system. Military presence in the Middle East guaranteed the system's stability. Wars, energy, and finance became inseparable. Money became a weapon, a lever of power, and a foundation for global control. From the Gulf War to the War on Terror, the system persisted. Iraq's invasion of Kuwait triggered intervention, but the financial stakes were enormous. Defense contractors profited. Corporations linked to energy and weapons gained unprecedented visibility. Wall Street moved in tandem. Human costs were immense, yet the machine ran smoothly. Afghanistan and Iraq alone cost trillions when including veteran care and debt interest. Citizens funded these conflicts through taxes and inflation. Defense contractors, investors, bankers, they thrived regardless of battlefield outcomes. Contracts were fulfilled. Bonds were repaid. Profit continued, independent of victory or defeat. The hidden lesson emerges clearly. War is never just about ideals or patriotism. It is a financial system, a mechanism to extract wealth from ordinary people while rewarding those at the top. This pattern extends beyond wartime. The 2008 financial collapse, the COVID-19 pandemic. The playbook was familiar. Trillions flowed to corporations and financial institutions, while ordinary citizens absorbed losses. Methods perfected in war, debt financing, bond issuance, corporate guarantees, now govern peace as well. The war machine and financial system merged. Everyday life reflects this system. Inflation, interest rates, taxation, groceries, housing, education, all influenced by a financial apparatus that thrives on crisis and conflict. Dependency is built into the structure. Volatility creates control. Understanding the system allows leverage. Ignorance carries a heavy cost. The lesson is stark. Money and power are inseparable. Every major war in modern history has not only reshaped borders or ideologies, but redistributed wealth, reinforced elite control, and ensured that the top beneficiaries profit continuously. Ordinary citizens are pawns, lenders, contributors, invisible participants in a system designed to monetize sacrifice. To truly understand modern wealth, power, and the cost of conflict, one must see this invisible battlefield. Ask not just who is fighting, but who benefits. The machinery is relentless. History rhymes and the pattern repeats. America's military-industrial complex, warned against decades ago, has fused seamlessly with the financial system. Entire industries, regions, and political structures depend on it. Bonds, debt, contracts, defense spending, all part of an unbroken cycle. Citizens bear the cost. Elites reap the rewards. From World War I trenches to the deserts of Iraq and Afghanistan, the formula remains unchanged. Governments fight. Corporations profit. Citizens pay. Outcomes on the battlefield often matter less than outcomes on balance sheets. Every conflict reinforces a financial ecosystem built on war. The system is relentless. Ignoring it carries consequences. To see true power, look past flags, slogans, and speeches. Examine bonds, contracts, and the flow of money. True financial freedom requires awareness of this invisible battlefield, because the cost of ignorance is immense. America's wars have rarely been fought solely for ideals or security. They have been fought for profit, for influence, and for control. Ordinary citizens have always carried the burden. Until we understand this, machinery will continue, quietly shaping lives, economies, and the world, one conflict at a time. If this story opened your eyes, stay tuned. History doesn't just tell us what happened, it shows us what always happens.